Hey guys, welcome back to the Detour Live. That's it. We got there. It has felt at times a bit like Indiana Jones. You know, when he's climbing up and he finally reaches the top of the mountain, but we've done it. It's the last day, and what a ride. What a ride. And as Iffy said earlier in this edition, it's probably one of the best Tour de France's that he's seen. Anyway, I'm your host, Dan Jones.
Dan, less rats this time.
Yeah.
Joined as always. You hated the rats.
Yeah, well, there was that scene where he cut the bridge and it all sort of went to shit essentially after that, but hopefully we'll hold it together for the rest of the show. Joined as always, four-time national road champion Johnny Toro, Olympic gold medalist Scott McGrory, Olympic commentator and the voice of cycling Phil Liggett, who's looking fresh with a brand new haircut. Phil, looking sharp.
7 o'clock this morning, Trish had the scissors out, and I've never been to a hairdresser for over 45, maybe 50 years. I expect them more than 5 shillings a haircut now. I wouldn't know.
Do you find as the years go on, it doesn't take as long?
It's funny you should say that, but it's like when I cut the grass. Most of my grass is left to grow 2 meters high, but I keep paths cutting them. It takes longer to cut the paths and leave it 3 meters high than it does to cut the whole lot in one go. I think Trish has the same problem with my hair.
Hey, boys, straight off the bat, let's chat to Luke Durbridge.
Hey,
superstar.
No, that's a warm welcome from everyone.
We've got a new rule. We sort of get excited at the start of the show, Durbo. I don't know how you're feeling because obviously it's been a pretty tough edition of the Tour de France. How's the body and how's the mind holding up for stage 21, mate?
Yeah, it definitely has been a whirlwind tour. I've done a fair few now, but this one feels like it was a little bit more stressful than normal, but maybe I'm just getting old. But yeah, I mean, it's been a hell of a 3 weeks, and yeah, going to look forward to rolling into Paris tonight, that's for sure.
Hey, Luke,
sorry, mate, go for it.
I was just going to say, Luke, it's Phil. I think you've had your best tour as far as I'm concerned, mate. You rode through the Alps there. It was fantastic. I thought you were changing direction and becoming a climber. You had a really great time. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been unfortunate for results-wise for us. You know, but it's not been from the lack of trying. You know, we've been pretty much in every breakaway. We've been aggressive in the green jersey. We've pushed Cav the whole way, trying to get points. Michael Matthews has been up there. We obviously lost Lucas Hamilton and Simon Yates, which was just before the Pyrenees, which was super unfortunate because I definitely feel like Simon was sitting there, you know, relaxed for the first couple of weeks to sort of really hit the Pyrenees hard, and we lost him just before that happened. And all it takes is one stage winner to turn your Tour de France around. So we've got one last chance today. So you know, let's roll the dice on the Champs-Élysées.
Bloody oath, mate.
Now, Durbo, there's big talk, obviously, about the Olympics. Samantha In says, Durbo, congrats on the Olympics. When did they ask you? So when did you know that you're going to be going to Tokyo?
I sort of, on the second rest day, I saw a post from Jack Haig pulling out. Obviously, I was on the reserve list for, actually, I've been on the reserve list for many Olympics, actually, probably 3 now. And I was just waiting to sort of see what direction they would go. It's tricky with, it's 3-week cough there, not COVID. So pretty much what happens is they depends on what direction they go, and we've been unfortunate with cycling's put under one banner, track cycling and road cycling. So over the years, we've always had a mountain biker, like I think Scott Bowden rode in Rio. Cameron Meyer was doing the Madison plus the road race. It's just there's a limited amount of athletes that can go. So it was an interesting one because I thought there's not really many guys there to go to support. It's a really small bunch, but you can't have your leaders, going back and getting bottles and putting them into position in crucial moments because there's just actually no workers. So I sort of mentioned to Cycling Australia, like, look, man, if you I know the course is probably a bit too hard for me, but for most of the race, you're going to need to support your leaders like Lucas Hamilton, Richie Port, Jack Haig, Ben O'Connor, Michael Matthews, whoever they decide to take. You're going to need a guy there that's experienced and knows how to read a race and put him in good position and look after them. And for me, I'm climbing quite well, so I can go quite deep into this race as well. So, that's what I sort of mentioned. But it's funny, they'd already thought about that, and they rang me on the second rest day and said, look, we really want you there for a support role for our two crucial guys and give them the best chance of a good result. So, I shed a little tear. It was a big moment, something to shy away from, and like I said, I've been reserved 3 times. So when they called me, I was pretty happy.
Scooter.
Hey, Turbo, don't want to bring up bones from the past that have been long buried, but you talk about being 3 times reserve. We go way back to 2011, and you were in the track team back then, training and preparing for possibly the London Olympic Games as well, and missed the final cut of the team to go to that one. So, this must be a really special moment. How difficult is it to think about next week when you're still trying to get through this?
Yeah, that was tricky. That was tricky. Second rest day, you're pretty tired. You just sort of seen Paris. You only got 3 big days coming into the Pyrenees, and they called you, said you're going to the Olympics, and you're like, oh, this is great, but I'm fucking tired. And then also you start to think about, because it's, as you've seen with the Tour de France, it's been a pretty sketchy race. So you're thinking about crashes and weather and getting tired and all this sort of stuff. So the first day after the rest day, when I got the news, that was pretty difficult, to be honest. Pretty difficult to do my job, pretty difficult to just focus back on the Tour de France and what it is. And I didn't have a bad day, but I didn't have a great day, and so they got my head kicked in. So I sort of had to look myself in the mirror, refocus, and go, look, mate, you're here to do a job, and you're here to do the Tour de France, and it's the biggest race in the world. So get your head back in the game, and you're good to go. So you are right, Scott. It was difficult, and then obviously I think a lot of emotion around the Olympic selection, because like you said, in 2011 I was world champion, and I'll never forget sitting in the Singapore lounge, and Ian McKenzie sat me down just before we were off to head to London World Cup, which is the last World Cup before the Games, and he said, look mate, it's not going to happen, and so you'll get your flight home rather than go to London World Cup, and Alex Edmondson will come in. So I was like, that was pretty difficult, and I won't forget that. But there's no grudges there. I understood I was not at the level to get off the start line. That's not my engine, and so I don't hold any grudges there. That was just the reality, but it was just hard to take.
Shit, I would.
Can I just? I don't want to hog this, but Durbo, what you just said then. 2002. I was on the way to the airport to fly to Moscow for the Track World Cup, and Shane Bannon on the way there said, oh, listen, by the way, we're not going to select you for the Commonwealth Games. So they had a bit of a habit back then of, and you're trying to focus on going to a World Cup. It's like, well, what's the point of me going now? I'm sure you felt the same. Like, okay, look, how about I just turn around and go home? What's the point? So they don't time it very well, do they? Or they didn't.
No, they definitely don't. And but I think the biggest thing for me was my mind had left onto a pro career. I just got a contract, so that was actually. I remember I've got like a diary from back then. I was reading it. It was quite funny, and it's like, righto, I was on the 2 fruit and cup of milk diet like the next day to try and lose all my weight so I could become a road rider. So I went for a week straight just having a glass of milk and 2 pieces of fruit. Trying to lose as much weight as possible before I went off to start my pro career with Green Edge. So,
I think he's borrowed Matty's phone, has he?
He's on the crapberry.
It looks like he's actually driving the Paris.
Network, unfortunately.
I lost you there. Lost
No,
you.
you're all right, mate.
Lost
Yeah,
you.
Where
Well,
are
I'm
you?
in the
Are
bus.
you moving? Are you
Yeah,
moving
they're in the bus.
towards the start?
Yeah, he's in the
Yeah.
bus. Yep. I was just going to say, Durbo,
we're on a 4-hour transfer to Paris.
how much of this, just to be selected to go to the Olympics, how much of this is about a childhood dream? And once you are selected for Olympics, it almost feels like from an outside looking in, it's a brotherhood. You know, you're an Olympian for life. And what does that mean to just compete, to just say that you've been to an Olympics?
I think there's like two minds about it. Sort of like you know, going to get the tracksuit or going to actually give it your best and actually do a good performance. And I think it's only just a bit of maturity now that I realise how precious this selection is and how hard it is to get. So you got to take that for granted, but also now you got the bit more maturity to go like, okay, righto, now I'm looking at like my preparation into it, what bikes I'm going to use, what nutrition I'm going to have to do a good road race, looking at the course, because you are there to represent your country with best possible, and I take that with great honour and great pride. So I think you would be, I'm definitely not going to get the tracksuit.
Yeah, we're having a few tech issues, Durbo, obviously traveling around France and on the network, but that's a great mindset.
And do a good performance. And
it's probably just going to blow in and out for a bit there, but I mean that's why.
Without it.
That's why I was never going to be a professional athlete, because I'd just be going for the tracksuit. Like when I see guys like Michael Hepburn rocking around Girona with his old Olympic tracksuit, I'm just in awe. I'm just like, oh man, I want one of those. And even the journos, like remember Ron Reed would go to the Tour de France and he had this thing where he'd get all this free kit. And if you were a journo that went to the Olympics, they would literally give you a suitcase full of shit, like all this Aussie stuff. And he didn't like washing his shirts, so he would just throw them in the bin. And these are like Aussie polos, and I'd be like obsessed with it. So talk about rolling up just for a track.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, you back? Oh, no, gone. But,
I shared a few rooms with Ron Reed, and it wasn't just his shirts. I think it was old pairs of jocks as well. He was just jettisoning everything all the way around France because he knew he was going to get a full suitcase full of new clothing. But they normally don't give you underwear, so I don't know why he kept throwing his old underwear out as well. Anyway.
Well, Durbo is back. Let's see if we can pick up the conversation, but it will drop in and out. Are you there, Durbo? Can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry, boys.
No, you're all right, mate. We were just saying that, like, it's a great mindset, as you said, not just turning up for a tracksuit, wanting to perform. And so you're almost in the zone now, thinking about, right, what have I got to do to have the best result on the day and get into that sort of, fire up. It's like bloody the Rocky training montage. Maybe Rocky 2.
Yeah.
When she goes, win.
Exactly.
What are we waiting for?
You're
Tickets.
not really thinking about it.
Yeah.
You're definitely thinking about like because with the way the race goes there, there's 145 guys. They all select leaders. It's just going to be a funny race. If you look at it, like who's going to, if a breakaway goes early, who's actually going to pull it back? So you've really got to be like, hey, you got to be in it to win it, and as we've seen with the way racing goes these days, people just roll the dice 60, 70 kilometres to go, and hey, who knows who's chasing? Is Geraint Thomas going to put Adam Yates on the front to chase a break back, or is it? You know what I mean? It's where's the hierarchy there, and it makes it quite a confusing race. So who knows?
Now, Durbo, since last February or January, February, I'm sure you've had a lot of COVID tests. But have you had any more down any dark back lanes late at night?
I have not done any backdoor COVID / drug deal sort of situations since the back of where were we? If you were back in Melbourne, where were we?
Out in Heidelberg, exactly. It was a very, very, very funny night. But anyway,
that's right.
Now, I wanted to. You just touched a little bit on this Tour de France and how tough it's been, and it's it's been disappointing in that you guys haven't won a stage, but you've been on the tally every night with this battle for the green. So you've got plenty of television coverage over here, I can tell you that. So, and it's been impressive, the battle for the green, even though, Cav looks to have it sewn up. But as we all know, there's one stage to go, and it can change in the blink of an eye. Cav's only just got to get lost in that sprint, not gain points, and bling finishes in the top 3 or 4, and it turns around. So it's still not over.
But Durbo's over because he's black.
That is.
Hey, plenty of love coming in for Durbo from the
Yeah. All right, let's run through a couple of the comments. David says, "Congrats, Durbo." Kirsty says, "I hear you, Dan. I have Aussie kit from 2004. Stuart McIntosh says, "How does Durbo think he'll go with the COVID restrictions imposed on the Olympic athletes?" You back, Durbo? Stuart McIntosh wants to know.
Sorry,
You're right,
mate. You were just wrapping up that question. If you,
I was just saying that it's not over until till cross the finish line today, because anything can change in that final sprint. Anything can happen.
Oh, for sure. If you've seen some of the lead-outs that's Luka Mesic's been doing in the intermediates and things like that, we just need the right run. The finish line's a bit further up the Champs-Élysées this year, which sort of suits us even better. So yeah, you got to be in it to win it, and I think it's we're going to go all in for that. And as we've seen with this Tour de France, you just never know what's going to happen. So yeah, I think that they're nervous. There's been some days that they've let breakaway go, and Cav could have had the record sewn up if they pulled that breakaway. They gave us a hand to pull that breakaway back, but they never did. So they are a little bit nervous about us, and we've been putting them under pressure at every turn. There's not that many points involved, so who knows?
Well, you mentioned it yesterday, Scooter, with Cav cracking the shits at the mechanic. Is that showing signs that things are getting to him? And, geez, how much love have you had, Scooter, from returning serve and putting a foot fair up Cav's backside for being a little bit precious?
Well, for being a twat, there's no way of putting it. And there are plenty. I'm seeing some people, saying, "Oh, well, look, he's always been a special sort of guy and a character, and we've given him some leeway and some rope for that bad attitude, and it's unacceptable." There was one of the comments yesterday saying, "Look, it happens in all teams," and that's bullshit. It doesn't. We had Brett Lancaster reached out to me and said, "Mate, if he was the DS, that would not have ended well." If he was on a team with him at that time. So it doesn't happen. Generally, the riders respect the team staff because they know how hard they work. And whether he's tired and he's stressed, it doesn't matter. It was inappropriate and unacceptable behaviour from Cav. And look, I know Cav pretty well. I'd class him as a friend. But, you got to call it as it is, and that's the way it was. He was way out of line.
What I found disappointing was when I asked Phil, what would you do if you're the DS? I was looking for real leadership, Phil to say, I'd pull him aside and say, listen, mate, it's like, when you're on a road trip with your parents and they do that empty threat where they go, I'll turn this car around if you don't pull your head in. I expected you, Phil, to say, listen, I'll pull you out of the race, Cav. I don't care if you're in the green jersey. We ain't putting up with that shit. Instead, you said you'd do nothing, Phil. You would do nothing.
DS. There's no DS would pull him out the race, I'll tell you. Otherwise, the DS would be sacked. Never mind Cav.
Imagine that.
No way. I'd have had a word with him, but I know Cav since I gave him the name the Manx Missile. I've known Cav. I've commentated every one of his stage wins. This guy carries his heart on his sleeve. Whatever he said, and we heard what he said, he went and apologised straight after that. The cameras didn't follow the apology, and he told the mechanic, who wasn't just there because Cav has come back to the team. He's been with Cav for years, and he probably just said, "Oh, it's Cav being Cav," and went and racked the bike and had another look at the headset. But the mechanic was wrong. Let's face it. Cav had told him for 3 days to fix the headset, and he checked it, and it wasn't fixed, and that's when he blew his top. It wasn't just happening on the spot. It had been a build-up for a number of days. Don't condone what Cav's done at all. It was in public. It was bad for everybody concerned. But he wasn't totally blameless in the situation, for sure.
Well played. I tried to bowl a short one at you, and you.
I know. I saw that. Have we lost Luke again?
We lost him again.
Because I wanted to know, the most important question was, how much longer is that sprint if they've moved the line up the finishing straight? Because I don't know.
Have they?
Because coming off that block, well, that's what Luke just said. The finish is a little bit further up the Champs-Élysées. It might be 100 yards, might be 200, but in the sprint, that could be absolutely crucial when Cav's been coming off that bend for since 2008, trying to measure his distance. If it's 200
I did see
further,
it written.
I don't know.
I think it's 150, but I'd have to check it. I saw
Yards,
it written
meters
somewhere.
longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
It can't be much longer because there's nowhere to put the grandstands if it's much longer. But they could have nudged it about 150 for sure. Yeah.
And one of the greatest, one of the best.
Wheel Wizard, 300
camera.
meters.
Yeah,
Oh, the Wheel Wizard. This man knows everything.
Wizard.
I've got to meet the Wheel Wizard.
Yeah.
You got to wait up.
300 meters, there we are. Well,
that's
quite a long
300
way,
meters,
actually.
guys. That's
quite a long
300
way.
extra meters of the side-on motorbike camera view of that sprint, and which they've started doing in the last sort of 10 years, which is just such a great shot, just tracking with them, on the motorbike inside on the middle of the Champs-Élysées there. So that'd be great.
But it's
The
just
scary
before
part of
the
that-
drag starts too up the hill.
The scary part of that camera, Scooters, remember the days when we used to have the bibs that you could stand in the middle of the Champs, and then all of a sudden, one year, this motorbike was just screaming up the middle. So you almost got skittled.
Yeah. Well, one of the
Yeah,
best side shots was when Renshaw led out Mark, and that was a great side shot. That's shown many times. The camera guy stayed with him all the way. It was brilliant.
First and second. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Back, Durbo.
Yeah. Hey!
Turbo.
Yeah, sorry, boys.
It's hard.
So
It's
excited.
harder than riding the Tour de France doing John Tavaro's podcast, you know.
Yeah. Oh, no, not again.
You see?
That
That was just to prove my
Yeah,
point.
try it without the camera. That's good because I reckon that will work. Iffy, you got another question you want to fire at Durbo before we let him
So
go?
I just I got some information for you, boys.
Yes.
Yep.
The final corner. The final corner is 700 meters from the line.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
3/4 of a kilometre.
Oh, you're joking me.
Makes a big difference. Makes a
wow.
big difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
So-
There's no race for the kilometre kite now, which we're going to see a lot closer to the finish.
Oh,
Well,
I
it
think-
changes
you got your
that
question
pressure
answered.
off.
Perfect.
Yeah, it changes that pressure off as they come through that the sort of S bend. That won't
Yeah,
be
well, that's where the
quite as
kilometre will
crucial.
be now. On that
Yeah.
S-bend, the kilometre kite will be there. They haven't got
Hey,
a banner
fella-
long enough. It's very wide there.
Fellas, do we want to unpack the time trial? Obviously, your man, Iffy, Wout van Aert. Did you predict him for the stage win?
No,
What's that?
I didn't. I said the Pog.
Oh, you did too.
I thought somebody did.
Yeah,
I would have claimed it.
Matty White did it.
Oh, did he?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Why
Yeah.
Well, he's supposed to know all the results. He doesn't count. He's supposed to
I
know.
picked him for the podium, but I didn't pick him for the win. But he killed them. But I'll tell you what, I got to say, your prediction, Phil, that Jonas
Vingegaard.
Vinegar
Brilliant, wasn't it?
could win the Tour next year, and I thought, well, how's he going to do that while the Pogacar is there?
Mm.
But hey, he's finished this very, very strong. He's beaten the Pog by nearly 30 seconds in the final time trial. So hey, anything can happen.
Hey, John,
Very
back
impressive.
in 98, we got it right with Cadell. It just took a while for him to do it. So maybe I won't be around when Vingegaard wins. Whose dog is that?
Getting attacked by a dog, Scooter. What's happening?
No, the doorbell went. I was just picking up my dinner. It was just
sweet.
delivered, and that's
What'd you get?
That's Boo Dog. It just goes nuts. It's
right.
my mate dog here. I got some risotto actually, so I got a mushroom risotto. Did get a bottle of wine as well. That's why I was hoping it would arrive before we started, so I could be sipping on that. I'll be swigging out of the bottle because I didn't pick up a glass then. And just sit back down at the table.
I'm sure you've drunk
Good
out of
to
West,
geek.
mate. That's fine.
Yeah.
Hey,
Now, listen, O'Connor did the ride, didn't he? Let's face it, O'Connor did the ride. He held off Wilco, and hats off to Ben. He'll never be the same bike rider again, because now he's a great bike rider. To first tour, finish fourth. Because of the way the other three have been riding, he's kind of gone under the radar around the world. But this guy's hit the big time now for sure.
Yeah, amazing. I'll tell you what, he was in a world of hurt in the last half of that.
I bet he was.
Trial. He looked really good in the first half. He was actually up on the Calder.
Yeah.
But nope. Here we go. But gee, he had to dig very, very deep in that last 10K. But hey, he did it. He held on. So it's an amazing achievement.
Scooter, you're a man of research and stats.
Oh, yeah.
What sort of a list does Ben O'Connor join, finishing fourth on the Tour de France?
Well, so he's the highest placed Australian upon debut, in fourth place, which is pretty good. Now, Cadell did finish 8th in the 2005 Tour de France, so that was his debut. And then the year later ran 4th. And, of course, he went on in 2011 to win the race. So, pretty good to start with 4th, considering he's got a long career to go. More recently, one of the better 4th place finishes was Primož Roglič. It was 2018. Obviously, second last year and crashed out early, but was pre-race sort of equal favourite with maybe slightly second favourite behind the Pog. But if you go back a little bit, Andy Hampsten in 1986, he finished 4th and then didn't go on to win the Tour, but he did win the Giro in 1988. Some other notable 4th place finishes: Robert Miller, Sean Kelly. Again, didn't go on to it. But if you go back a bit further, 1954, Federico Bahamontes, he finished 4th in his first Tour, and then went on to win it in 59. But the most famous...
Toledo.
Yes.
Yep.
The most famous of the 4th place getters that went on after that to do something was Lucien Bobet. In 48, he finished 4th, and then went on to win 3 in a row, 53, 54, and 55. So, he's in some pretty big shoes there, coming in to finish 4th in his debut Tour. Now, in terms of Grand Tours overall, debutant results, I've already mentioned Cadell at 8th. But then if you look at Gary Clively, 1977, finished 7th in his first and only Vuelta a España. Richie, in his first Giro, he finished 7th as well. And then, Tour de France, Phil Anderson was in 1981. He finished 10th in his first, went on to win 5th twice. And special mentions to Brad McGee, who was 8th in his first Giro, but he had ridden 2 Tours before that as well. So, but 8th in his first Giro. So he's in some pretty good standing there. 4th in his first Tour de France. It's pretty good.
Another really heartwarming moment that I saw was Alan Piper being there live to see the time trial. Obviously, he's had his health battles of recent years, and he was such an inspiration for Pogacar to really have that belief, particularly last year when no one else thought he could win the Tour, because obviously Fabio Aru was the GC hope for UAE. But to see him there live, I mean, that was really special to see.
And obviously their relationship is very special, because when he was interviewed after the stage, he spoke about it at quite length to say how special it was to have Alan here, and it put him in the right mood to enjoy the day. It probably cost him winning a stage because he enjoyed it too much. But no. But seriously, he spoke for a while about how important it was to have Alan there and how special. So obviously their bond has stayed just as strong. And as you mentioned earlier, Dan, Alan's been very much a part of this. He might have only turned up for the first time at the Tour today because he hasn't been well, but he's been very, pages and pages of notes on every stage that he's done for the team. So very much a part of this victory as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I saw Phil in the media, Geraint Thomas obviously talking about, how difficult this Tour de France has been, particularly mentally. I mean, does it make it harder when you're on a team like Ineos and there is such high pressure going into a race like the Tour? If you don't win, it is a failure. Like, and how much layers does that add to a rider's psyche?
Well, in Geraint's case, I take my hat off to him because he's finishing looking pretty strong now after that terrible accident when they put his dislocated shoulder back in position. I thought, well, he might get to the finish, but he's going to go home. But he didn't. He became a team domestique, in effect. And every day we saw this man getting stronger and stronger. For the team overall, this just hasn't been their tour. They came with 4 potential winners. By the end of the first week, they have 1 left, and that was Carapaz. Carapaz isn't quite ready to win the Tour de France yet. He's not the man of the time trials, but I have to say he's a great character, and he's ridden really well. He's going to finish 3rd. But 3rd to a team that's dominated the Tour since 2012, apart from 2 occasions. 3rd is simply, they don't count 3rds anymore, like they don't count 2nds in the road race. So it's not good for the team, but they've still been a part of this race, even though they haven't even won a single stage. They've done plenty of work at the front of the peloton. We see them all the time. But no, it'll be seen as pretty much as a failure. I think it's the first Tour too. I've never seen an interview from Sir Dave Brailsford, so I think
they might have to lift their budget a little bit, Phil. So
they need more money. This is the problem. Yeah. They like these footballers, pay them more and they play less. Yeah.
50 million euro. But anyway, I've been surprised at their tactics in this tour. I don't think they've ridden a smart race. They know Carapaz. They almost like they've been additional riders for UAE, the way they've worked on the front, and then they pull over and UAE take over. It just looked ridiculous. But anyway.
I can't tell you how many times I've asked Bob Roll to explain me as a newcomer to the Tour de France. I used to say to Bob, now look, I've no idea what's going on, Bob. What's going on with these guys? And he go, Phil, well, I must confess, I'm rather confused myself. We've never worked out the tactics of Ineos. I think they were just trying to impress people to say we're still in the race because nothing they tried worked. Absolutely nothing.
Well, Scooter,
they were trying to crack him. There's no doubt about that. They were just trying to go as hard as they could, hoping that the Pog would crack. But anyway.
Scooter, if you had your time again from an Ineos perspective, what would have you done different? How differently would you have raced it knowing what you know now?
Well, hindsight, it's an exact science, isn't it? So look, I think they weren't too sure about Egan Bernal because of his back, so they gave him the second target, which of course has a lot of it holds a very special place for Egan Bernal because he did go to Italy first before when he first came from Colombia. So he's always wanted to try and do well at that race. So they focused on that. He'll be back next year. Don't worry about that. He'll be very, very strong and hard to beat as well. So take that off the table. When they came into this race, it was all about Geraint Thomas. Then he crashed and hurt himself. There was nothing else they could do after that. So they'll get a lot of criticism from this. But let's just remember, let's put a cap on it because from 2012 onwards, they have been by far the absolutely overwhelming dominant force at the Tour de France, winning almost every edition. They've only missed 2 since. So they'll be back next year and they'll have Bernal as their main man. And I'm sure they'll be back fighting.
If he, from another perspective, how tough would it be if you're Caleb Ewan? Let's be honest. Let's talk to the elephant in the room. Seeing Cavendish, yep, great sprinter, but knowing that you have the straight line speed, you could have mopped up the green jersey. You could have won 5 or 6 stages. How do you mentally go? Well, you could have won 8. And we could have absolutely towed up Phil in the UK-Australia battle. But, yeah, I mean, that obviously must be tough to process for someone like that.
Of course. I'm sure. Look, I'm told, though, he's switched on, aiming for the Vuelta. He's all switched on, ready to take it up. Of course, he would be absolutely pissed because it was his own fault. It's not like someone else knocked him down or whatever. It was a slight mistake. And he's a great tactical rider. He just made the slightest error. Bang, went down. He would be kicking himself.
Phil, you have to go. Phil has to go. He's got to go. So we've got to get him in the car. Kareka Foundation, kariega.co.za/Peloton. Keep the donations coming. Phil, good luck for your final call in Paris today. Have you got a line organised if Cav wins and breaks the record?
No, I don't.
You obviously don't want to give it away too much, but have you pre-worked out in your head something?
Well, the so-called ligotism's just come out because I don't know what's coming next. So I'm just hoping something special comes out. But I hope Cav gets it. I really do. Yeah, and don't forget today we say goodbye to Andre Greipel. Won 18 stages of the Tour Down Under. I think he won 11 stages of the Tour de France, and we nicknamed him the Gorilla because he's a big, strong man. But he's a lovely guy, and I wish him all the best for his future. He said he's very happy to retire now. He hasn't really been a player in the sprints, so that means you'll go and win the stage today. But we'll find out. No, I'm looking forward to it. My car is outside. You're absolutely right, Dan, because I have to get into
Well, you better go, mate. You better go. Really appreciate it, Phil. And
well, hey, I've enjoyed this immensely, and thanks to everybody for the support you've given Careca. We banked quite a few $100, and we'll keep the competitions coming because we're going to run more as we go through towards September. And hopefully one day some of you guys will get to see Careca itself, which is being beaten not just by the COVID now, but by the riots that's tearing that area of South Africa apart. It's unbelievable. So is the politicians are corrupt, and that's a fact.
And good luck with the Olympic commentary, mate. I'm sure you'll absolutely nail it.
Well,
Scotty at the helm as well.
Scotty's clearly well prepared, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to get a sleep around lap 2 of the men's road race because it'll be 3:30 in the morning at my clock time, and Scotty will carry me through. I hope.
Well, we're going to have a chat tomorrow.
On Monday, though, Scotty. Yes, we'll have a chat.
Yeah. And, you just call me anytime late afternoon, early evening, my time, mate. Go for it. Yeah, give us a buzz.
Okay. And if I don't get you tomorrow, it'll be Tuesday. But I've got a bit of sorting out to do tomorrow.
All right, Phil. You go get that car.
Thanks,
don't wait. Don't
John,
leave the
take care. Have a great day.
Mate.
And we'll all cheer Michael Matthews, but in the end, I hope Cav wins. Okay.
Good on you, Phil.
Okay, take care, guys. All the best. Bye-bye.
See you, mate. Bye.
See you, Phil.
Phil Liggett, voice of cycling, absolute legend. It's that time of the show where we have a quick word from our great mates at Let's Go Motorhomes and Bike Exchange.
We all love an open road, and often they're easier to find during... We all love an open road, and often they're easier to find during quieter times of the year. In a Let's Go motorhome or camper van, you can road trip in comfort and style any time of the year. When the roads are quiet, you can get where you want quicker and easier without jostling for position. Chances are your destination won't be as busy too, which means you'll enjoy your travelling adventure even more. Plus, if you book a Let's Go motorhome or camper van in the off-season, you pay less, meaning you can travel longer. There's a type of motorhome or camper van for everyone, so you won't have to compromise on what you want. The whole range has the things you need to help create the perfect road trip experience, including heating and cooling, keeping you comfortable on the road all the time. Whether there's 2 or 6 of you, there's a motorhome for everyone. And in a Let's Go motorhome, your journey can be just as fun as the destination you want to reach. The open road is calling. Check out some of our great offers online today and start planning your next road trip. Rain, hail, or shine.
Look at this bike. You think it's just a bike, right? But it's not. It's a bike 374 people are looking at. This guy, this girl, them, all looking at it. People from here, there, and wherever this is. People that are looking for a bike. Or just a piece of it. Amateurs, semi-amateurs, and pro-amateurs. This guy wants this bike, but with this crank and these bars. This could be the perfect match. But not this one. This girl has a bike to sell, and thousands of people might purchase it. Eyes on Bikes help grow small businesses. His, hers, yours, and the latest data and insights help those businesses keep moving. We are the world's #1 bike marketplace, with over 500,000 products and 900 brands, where buyers and sellers are brought together in a place where a bike is never just a bike. Bike Exchange, where the world buys, sells, learns, and rides.
Thanks again to Let's Go Motorhomes and Bike Exchange. What happened before? Like, there was a problem pressing the video. It didn't want to load. And did you get busted, Scooter? Because people are saying,
the video.
Kirsty,
That's beginning the can.
Scooter's
Then I ran off to get the glass. Then I ran off to get a glass for more red wine.
Sam wants to know, Scott, will there be any overseas commentators in Tokyo? I noticed the journos are there. Also, I think Richie's been saving his legs in the last weeks for the Olympics.
Okay. The Olympic broadcast service that do the production behind the Olympic Games, they have their own every difference, and every country chooses whether they take that commentary. It's the same as with the Tour de France, with your world feed or your international comment, or say like for us, Channel 7, typically they will use any of the sports where they think that either it's a prominent sport for Australia or we have a chance. Then they're employing commentary to be done, and that's all being done from Melbourne or Sydney. So the main crew is in Melbourne, but there are going to be some people doing it out of Sydney, and that's due to all the COVID restrictions. But the commentators that the IOC have employed through the OBS, they've all had to fly across. And I think Rochelle Gilmore actually is part of that, like what they call the world signal or the international signal. But in Australia, you won't get to hear Rochelle's comment. Myself, and we've just brought in basically in this last week, Paul van der Ploeg is going to do the mountain bike with me. So Anna and I on BMX, Paul and I on mountain bike, and then for most of the track it's Anna and I. Phil's coming in for the last 2 days, and then Anna, myself, and Phil as the lead man for road and the time trial.
Okay, well, what I'm going to do now is run through all the comments because I do get critique going, hey, mate, you missed, a good comment. So I'll just go through the ones that I haven't posted. Ryan says, what are Sam Bennett's chances of big wins next year without Morkov? Iffy.
Well, they won't. They'll be harder. I mean, I'm not sure who his lead-out train's going to be, but I can tell you now, without Morkov, I don't care whether it be Cav without Morkov or anyone without Morkov, it's going to be a lot harder because he is absolutely brilliant. So, be tougher.
Wendy Superfan, hi guys, thanks for a great 3 weeks of the detour. No worries. Skull says, thanks for the podcast, guys. It's been fun listening and watching.
On your Skull.
Now, Simon Knowles says, Durbo reminds him of a young Whitey when he talks. I'd probably agree with that a little bit.
There's a lot of Simon.
Catriona McDonald says, good on you, Durbo. Congratulations. Byron says, thanks, guys, for the last 3 weeks. It's been good listening. Shade, I'm with Scooter, zero excuses. Cav seems a bit unhinged to me. I think Shade
has got his mojo back.
Big support. Top Gun B says, Cav has lost a lot of fans, including me, over that behaviour. I'm glad you guys have called him out. Vazzy, g'day, Vazzy says, hi, guys. Thanks for an amazing 3 weeks. You've made this tour so exciting, so much fun. Great work. And then Wheel Wizard, another stat. Bahamontes is the oldest living Tour de France winner at 93 a couple of days ago.
Yeah,
so there you go.
Yeah, there you go, Toledo.
San Jensen Dobbs says, thanks for 3 funny and interesting weeks. Love all the guests you've had with or without technical problems. Stuart McIntosh, this is a good stat. He says, I believe Ineos have never won a stage of any stage race that the Poggers participated in. He is their number well and truly. That's pretty interesting, Scooter. You're a stat man.
Yeah. Well, I'll look it up, but I'll take it on Stewie's measure. That's correct. That is very interesting stat. That's a good one to know. I'd say that Ineos will probably just try and buy Pog.
Yeah. And Iffy, just a quick one. Boris wants to know, can Geraint Thomas win another Grand Tour?
Yes, he can, but it won't be a Tour de France, I don't think. He can win another Grand Tour. Now, also, I'd like to throw a happy birthday in to Simon Clark, who it's his birthday today. There he goes. Yep. And I tell you, we haven't given him enough love in the last week. He's been riding with a broken back. He's got a fractured vertebrae.
I mentioned it the other day.
Yeah, but we've given him no love.
Yeah,
in the break.
I
in the
mentioned
break.
it. You didn't.
Okay, well, I haven't given him enough love because he's a champion guy, a great bike rider, and it's one of the toughest Tour de France. Everyone's saying how tough this one's been, and to find out you got a fractured vertebrae and to continue on and get in the big break the other day with that, very impressive. So good on you, Clarkie.
Well, that reminds me of you're talking about Geraint Thomas when he stage of what year is that? 2013 Tour de France, and he crashed and fractured his pelvis and rode the whole way through. 3 weeks with a fractured pelvis. Pretty tough.
Yeah,
Pretty tough.
A couple of other comments. I'll just bring them up now. Will Wizard says, guys, no next day after Tour de France in Boxmere, this because of COVID, and no LS Cav Racing Crit Tuesday in where is pronounced that?
Rosalie.
Yeah, Rosalie. Yeah, so that's the after tour criteriums.
Give people an insight into the after tour crits and how this could have been a massive cash cow for riders of the Tour de France.
Yeah, look, I'm not sure how many they do now, but it used to be like for 2 weeks after the tour, every day was a crit. I think there are less now, if I'm not mistaken. But basically for 2 weeks after, the riders, you've got your sort of regular pros that will get paid to go there, but then from the Tour de France, they'll try and get all the Jersey winners or stage winners, and they get paid big bucks, really good money for cycling. From cycling perspectives, really good money to go and ride all these criteriums. Robbie McEwen used to always do it, and also Baden Cook. I think Baden bought a Maserati with cash from the post tour crits that he did. And they go and do these crits and just enjoy it. The crowds, would have to pay to get into the area. They block the streets off. I think they started doing that less a little bit towards the end as well. But it was just like a big carnival. Let's go and see all the people that we've been watching over the last 3 weeks, all these superstars, and they'd go and do all these criteriums, short races afterwards, and they'd make some pretty good coin out of it. Robbie loved it.
But even if you finished last, like the Lanterne Rouge would get extra money. So there's almost a battle going on to finish last on GC at the tour.
Exactly. Very big in Belgium and Holland. I have quite a few in France, but in Holland and Belgium are absolutely massive and would get amazing crowds. I rode a few of them, even though I didn't ride the tour. I got to ride a few of the post-tour crits. Fantastic, absolutely brilliant.
And Germany got really big. Like Germany started to get big. They've always had a pretty big critsy scene. But the post-tour style crits like these, they started to grow around the Jan Ulrich, Eric Zabel, Aldag, Ludo Bolt's era, and Bjarne Riis, of course, riding for the Team Mobile team when he won in '96. But then with 2006, with the big scandal that brought down all of those guys, that was it. The German professional sort of criterium and racing scene completely disappeared and capitulated. All the sponsors ran for the hills. Their scene has gone back to what it used to be like. So if you go back through the 80s and earlier, Germany was really kind of like an amateur cycling nation. They didn't have many pro riders, didn't have many pro teams. And then that really built up through the 90s into the early 2000s and then just completely went off the cliff again. But that is starting to come back with, guys like Andre Greipel. His whole career has been done with a lot of respect from the German fans and business partners, etc. And Bora has been great. So a lot of Niels Pollitt and all these riders coming through, Schachmann. So it's really starting to grow again.
And if it's the anniversary of the tragic passing of Amy Gillett, obviously the Amy Gillett Foundation doing a lot of fantastic work for education around, rider and driver safety out there on the roads. But it's a day, obviously, people don't forget because it happened, when the Tour de France was on in 2005.
Yes,
and it's time for
exactly.
Time for reflection and to obviously appreciate the legacy as well that Amy Gillett's got. And we're going to be doing a special episode hopefully on Thursday.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So you're right, mate. 16 years today. So it was July the 18th, 2005. We were shooting the Detour movies and we were not far from the German border. We're up in that area of France, near Salzburg somewhere, I think, when it happened. I just remember it knocked us all around. And, of course, tragically, Amy died in that ridiculous accident, a young girl who had only had a license a few weeks. and Katie Brown, Kate Nichols, Alexis Rhodes, Louise Yaxley, and Lorianne Graham all survived, but they were knocked around. And so Katie Brown is now the stakeholders and campaigns manager with the Amy Gillett Foundation, and she's going to come on Thursday, and we're going to have a chat to her about some of the things that they're going to be doing in the future, because Amy Gillett Foundation are a fantastic organisation. They've had a lot to do with the change of safety on our roads. You know, there's been, since Amy was killed in 2005, there's been 570 Australians have been killed while riding their bikes in Australia. So they brought in the whole Meter Matters, which is coming right around Australia now, and awareness that the cyclists and the motorists have got to work together. It's not an us versus them. Nearly every cyclist drives a car. So we've got to just work together. So anyway, next Thursday, we're going to have a program, and most of it will be talking about some of the great things that's going to be happening with some of the projects that the Amy Gillett Foundation have got planned.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, we're hoping to get Ben O'Connor on the show hopefully on Tuesday. Depends on his schedule, but you know, for a young guy to finish fourth on the tour, I mean, how many days would you need, Scooter, just to get away and digest what you achieved?
Yeah, look, he's going to be high now for a while. He'll have some sore legs now, kick in Monday, but yeah, you know, depending on schedule pre-race, going to be, that may change slightly now that he's done what he has done. He could put his feet up for the rest of the year, but I'm sure he won't. Look, he is young. It is the first. He's never gone this deep before, so they do need to be very careful about over the next couple of weeks. Just take some easy days and enjoy it, and maybe not spend too much time off the bike and actually get to another race sometime in the next sort of 7 to 14 days, just to get the body going again.
I'm told he's riding the Vuelta.
Oh wow! Yeah, well there you go.
Yeah, that was on one of the websites yesterday that H2R are looking at. If he comes up, whack him in the Vuelta. I think that'd be crazy.
Gary reminds us: are you going to finish at 7:30 so I can watch? Excuse me. So I can watch Cookie. Thanks for the potty.
Oh yeah, of course.
Survivor.
Of course.
Survivor. We've got to go, boys. Who's your predictions for the stage?
Hey, before you do, mate.
Yeah.
It was, who was it? Hamish reminded us that Kwiatkowski won a stage last year and Pogacar won the Tour. So that's an Ineos rider that did win a stage that Pogacar won in the overall. So that might,
yes, that's
maybe
right.
Races out, maybe races outside the Tour at some stage. But yeah. Look, right. Cav's going to win the stage.
Him and Carapaz come in together, arm in arm. That's right. Yep.
That's right. Yeah. Yep.
Cav going to win, Iffy?
No, Michael Matthews.
All right. Go Bling.
What
a story.
Patriotism. But yeah, I'd love him to. If I was, who do I want to see win? If Matthews or Greipel are the two that I'd like to see win. But I think Cav will.
All right. Well, it's going to be interesting.
And watch out for Wout van Aert, because he's come out and said, "I'm going for the stage tomorrow."
Well, it's all going to be happening.
Mountain stage time trial bunch.
Tomorrow we're going to go through the teams and give them a grade. Yeah, we'll do a recap of the tour. When's your Tour de France? When's your Olympic gig really crank up, Scooter?
So heading into Melbourne on Tuesday. So my accommodation starts from Tuesday, and then we've got rehearsals on Wednesday. So all of the different sports are doing rehearsals on Wednesday, all right throughout the day, just to make sure everything's working all correct. And then Saturday is the road race, men's road race, Sunday women's road race. Then it's mountain bike for 2 days. I think I've only got 2 days off for the entire thing, which is because I'm not commentating BMX freestyle, but I'm doing all the other cycling events.
Okay. So you'll be right for a recap tomorrow night?
Yeah, I'm up.
Oh, sweet. All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Glad we went through the admin at the 55-minute mark of today's episode.
What time would you like to come on, Dan? Is there any preparation I should do beforehand? What do you think?
All good, mate. Same time, 6:30.
Yeah, okay, cool. All right.
Yeah. All right. YouTube.com/Detour Podcast. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks for all your support. Enjoy the final stage, and it could be historic. Can Mark Cavendish break the record? Wait and see. Or will Bling do a Stephen Bradbury and take the green on the final day with Cav crashing out. We don't want that. But if
What about a
does
breakaway?
I'll tell you.
We had
Or breakaway.
a breakaway on the Champs for a long time. Tired. Everyone's tired. De Koenig may be too strong, but if they put all the pressure just on De Koenig to chase everything down, maybe a break would get away.
That's right. Going to be interesting.
Who was the last one? That would
Vinokurov.
Vinokurov beat Brad McGee.
Brad McGee.
Yeah, Brad would have been really chuffed about that. Yeah.
All right.
If you watch, all right.
No.
We're waffling.
Bye, guys.
We're waffling. See you tomorrow. Take it easy, guys. Bye.